Veneta Jodie in a Jodie Bottega bag. Why some corsets have laces in the back and others have laces in the front. And why Chanel shoes famously have a different colored cap toe. All in all, why are fashion people so weird, and are they? Let's investigate. Google, my name is Anastasiia and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are doing the second video in this series of why fashion people are being weird and are they actually weird. We are doing little fashion investigations in some of more or less obvious questions in terms of fashion naming or garment styles or whatever, honestly. Other than that, let's get right into it. And we're gonna start with Bottega Veneta's Jodie bag. Arguably one of the most consistently, and I mark it consistently, popular Bottega bags. But also with one of the weirdest names. I mean, we get it, the pouch, the cassette, the sardine, all of those other bags are kind of named after the shape of the bag, but the Jodie, who's the Jodie? Well, turns out the Jodie we're talking about here is actually none other than American actress Jodie Foster. Well, the bag was created back in the 90s and, as the story usually goes, it caught the celebrity, and you already know who. So Miss Foster was seen multiple times carrying around her Jodie by Bottega, which was enough for it both to become a trend, well, kind of a trend amongst everything else that was trendy in the 90s, which was enough for it to spurt brand sales numbers, which, well, prompted them to rename the bag after the celebrity to prolong this kind of fairy tale. Well, unfortunately for Bottega, unlike Hermes Kelly or Gucci Jackie, this story was kind of left behind as a part of the fashion history and not something to actively promote the brand today. Well, probably not only due to Bottega lying low, but almost verging on the line of existence before Daniel Lee came in. Well, then again, it's not like they're actively trying to revive it, and as I already said, the bag is popular as it is. Mystery solved. Next question. We are diving a little bit further into the history in order to answer the question why some corsets have their tightening, well, their laces in the front and others have it in the back. No worries, we are not about to recall like the entirety of corset history, but a garment as we know it today came into fashion within the French court back in the 16th century. And by the end of the 16th century, it became a must-have among all European elites. Now, because this trend originated with women of high social status, like we're talking aristocracy, we're talking royal elites here, it was obvious that these women didn't have to actually dress themselves. They had servants who helped them into the garments. Hence, lacing originally being placed in the back of the corset. However, as we all know, trends never happened to stay just within one social class. They bleed even through the restrictions of sumptuary laws. And vice versa, to be honest, but that's a talk for another video. So, by the 18th century, corsets were well spread and popular among the bourgeois, who still could afford servants, so it's not the point. But what is the point here is that fashion went even further and women of lower classes adapted the trend as well. Yet they were never really extravagant and made of far less expensive materials, like no whalebone. Oh no. They used reeds for the support. But more importantly, these women obviously couldn't afford the servants. And so the lacing of the corset was replaced to the front of the garment. Mystery solved. On to the next question. Why Chanel shoes famously have a different colored cap toe? Well, this is a story of Chanel infamous two-tone shoes. As so you are more familiar with this whole fashion lingua, like this front part of the shoe that is separated from the rest of the shoe with a stitch, and it might or might not differ within the color from the rest of the shoe is called a cap toe. But back to Coco. Well, the shoes were first presented as a part of her offering in 1957, but at this point of time she was already wearing them for at least 20 years. That's quite a test drive of the model if you ask me. Well, anyway, you know how Chanel was all about like utilitarian fashion, day-to-night outfits as well. And this was the point she was making consistently, elongating your legs, because this last part is important. So the shoe that was offered was beige, thus visually prolonging the line of your leg and, well, elongating it. But The cap toe of the shoe was left black in order to visually shorten the length of your feet. And I'm pretty sure it was for the practical reason as well, because obviously black leather is more resilient and weather prone than the same leather in beige, but it wasn't exactly a part of the marketing strategy. You live in the morning with beige and black, you dine with beige and black, you go for a cocktail with beige and black. You are dressed from morning to evening. Well, that wasn't her presentation instead. So what I said before about practicality is just my thoughts, but I think it still kind of fits into the brand nicely. And thus, the last mystery for the day is solved. And we're done with this investigation, my fashion detectives. So, if you have enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to this channel, like this video, check out my other social media if you like the vibes, and other than that, I'll see you in the next one. So, bye!